Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Notorious Moms, the podcast. I am here with my very special guest. Guest, introduce yourself. Tell the people who you are, what you do.
Hello, everyone. My name is Fairy or Fairy Sex Mother. As you can see, I am an erotic mindset coach and I help couples or individuals reach their erotic goals through different ways. And I specialize in body movement. I have a psychology background. I get my master's in marriage and family therapy. And I
Yes.
also have a lot of life experiences and other certifications that help me with how I practice my my stuff, my things. I can't get my words together today.
So that is interesting because when I came across your page, I came across your page because I think we have like mutual friends that we
hmm
follow and that follow us. And I saw your birthday outfit. It was the blue one with the like the strappy. I was like, "Oh my gosh." Like it you looked really beautiful.
Thank
And I was like,
you.
"Oh, I got to see." So I looked at your page and I was like, "Oh, she would be dope to come on and give a little bit of her perspective and what she does to help some people out cuz I feel like when it comes to like erotic and romance and sex, a lot of people have difficulties with that.
hmm
I feel like some people still think it's a little taboo. Nobody really likes to talk about it, in a way where it can be like educational and not like raunchy, ratchet, sexy. I mean, even though sometimes you want to do that, but
hmm
um that is not what you do. So can you explain like what exactly is it erotic coaching?
Erotic mindset coaching.
Okay.
So,
Let's dig into that. I need to know. Spill the
so
tea.
with my erotic practice, I'm more so focused on the mind and how it plays a huge role into a person's sex life because a lot of people don't know that the brain. I feel like I'm talking so low. Okay, a lot of people don't know that the brain is the largest sex organ in the human body, whether you're male, female, non binary, whatever. And so, regardless of who you like, how you feel, if you aren't emotionally or mentally there in the moment, it doesn't necessarily mean like you have to be attached to the person. But if you're not mentally in that moment and you've never had prior conversations, you don't have good communication skills, you aren't confident within yourself, you view yourself as lesser than, and you need to be with someone just to make you feel good, your sex life is probably like a little trash.
Mm.
So, my position is to help people change their mindset of thinking like, oh, I can't do this because of my size. Well, I do this and I'm a big girl. So regardless, anybody could do it. Or you get out of the mindset of, or I'm not comfortable doing this because I'm not comfortable with my own body. Well, there's ways that you can become comfortable with your body that doesn't necessarily require you to do exercise. You could do yoga. You could walk around your house naked all day, every day. You could wear lingerie, and that just builds body confidence and body positivity naturally rather than having to take all these dietary pills or do
Mm.
all these extremely expensive methods
Right.
just to become comfortable with yourself. So I help you change your mindset to have like a great sex life. But I also give a little sucking dick tips too, and I give a little eating pussy tips. I do all the little nasty stuff in between things, but I also just like focus on mental stability because that's where my main concentration comes from. Everything
Gotcha.
else is the nasty fun stuff.
Right, right, right. So when you talk about like, I never really thought about it like that, like body positivity, like you have to be, in a certain mindset, like with yourself, right? Because I think I've experienced that a time or two, especially when I first started having sex. Like I had no clue, and I will
Mhm.
always like have an issue with like I always wanted to do it in the dark.
Mhm.
I'm
Man
like,
said
no,
fucking other covers. So
lights
hey.
off. I need the covers on me. And it wasn't until I got into like my late 20s, early 30s that I'm just like, hey, like I started experiencing different feelings about my body because I'm also a plus size girl. I got curves, I got cellulite, I got stretch marks, I got it all. Um, but I have become more comfortable within myself. And I never realized that the more comfortable you are with yourself, the better your sex life is.
Mhm.
Right? Because then you're not thinking about, oh, the lights gotta be off and the covers gotta be on. And you can't see me, you can't look at me. When I feel like the beginning of like foreplay, that starts like way, way, way before you even get into the bedroom or
before you
wherever you
even
like to
touch
have
me.
sex.
Right, before you even touch me. And even then, body positivity doesn't even come from, damn, I had a thought and it says you. It doesn't it doesn't just necessarily come from like sex in itself, but it also comes from a place of how you see yourself. Like if you present yourself to be this very confident, well embodied person, but then you get in the bedroom and you're like, you really want to see me? Are you sure? It
Right,
just it plays like a very confusing factor because then you're not able to achieve the goals that you want to. And then also a lot of people associate their ego to their sex life. So it's like if my sex life is supposed to be this amazing, huge factor. And like with penis owners, they'll come forward and be like, "Oh, my dick is big. Do you know my dick is big?" And da da da. Like they always emphasize their penis in the bedroom. Where it's like, okay, what about your mouth though? What about your
right,
shoulder? What about your fingers? What about your
right.
nose? Your eyes? Like there's other parts of your body that can stimulate any part of a person's body, but we have to all be confident within ourselves. And a lot of people lose their confidence because either A, they had a terrible sex partner in the past, bad communication, they got some trauma from family or childhood that they have to work through that hasn't been like touched, or they just there's a lot of reasons why people just have terrible sex lives. It can never be
Yeah,
just broken
I was just
someone
gonna
else.
ask you that. Like, why do you think like people that have come to you in the past, like what has been like the most one of the biggest issue that people have like within their sex lives with their partners? Or what do you feel like is the biggest issue?
I think the biggest issue is expectations not meeting reality and communication. Like when you're sexually attracted to somebody or you start to lust someone, naturally you think about like, how are you guys going to have sex with each other? And if you set this scene up in your mind, like, oh, we're going to do this, they're going to bend me over, they're going to eat me out, they're going to pull my leg up in the air. Oh, they look strong, their muscles, they're going to pick me up. Oh,
Right.
she got some thick, juicy lips. She's going to suck my dick for like 12 hours. Like, you set all these expectations up. And then when the time comes, there comes reality where either you bust too quick, or you're not as wet as you thought you were, or there wasn't enough foreplay like you expected, or the conversation was dry, or you go over there and it's basically you're going over there to fuck but not have an experience. And
Right.
so that's where you build yourself up, but then you get let down because of what happens. And that all comes from terrible communication. Because if you wanted all these things to happen, then why not ask this person, like, hey, do you eat pussy? Like, forget the cute little small talk. If you know that you guys want to have sex with each other, then having like that whole, what's your favorite color? If you were on a date, what would you be like your perfect date? Like those questions are cute and they're nice. But if you're trying to like and have an experience in the bedroom, let's ask the real deal questions. Like, are you a sub? Are you a dom? Have you ever controlled someone in the bedroom? Are you into toys? Is sex a deal breaker for you? Is it your top five, your top three? Like, we need to start asking each other, have you gotten tested? You
Oh
know,
yeah, that's important.
that's
That's
the top,
important.
the first question
That's
I
like the
ask.
top question I ask too.
That's
You
the
know, I've
first
asked in the past,
question.
like, what's your status? Can I see some results?
And
Like,
let me see them. And
right,
I need to see recent paperwork. So if I know your real name, you ain't gotta show me your address if I've never been to your house yet.
right,
But show me recent results because I don't mind showing I put mine on the internet anyways.
right.
So it's like I gotta know your status because I'm a freaky chick. So I want to do some things, which I need to know you clean. So
Right, because I mean, I don't know, like protection is important, but sometimes, it's
yeah,
like
but condoms are condoms are
I feel
needed.
like it takes away from the experience, like honestly.
It does, but condoms are needed because of like all the STDs that can carry. Even if you do get tested and you still have to wait for your results to come back, and like not all STDs show up the first time. Just
Right,
like there are moments where herpes, you wouldn't necessarily know that you have herpes too unless you have an outbreak. You wouldn't
right.
necessarily know if you have AIDS or HIV unless the oh, I hope I don't
A
say this
viral
shit
count.
wrong. Yeah, like
Right.
until you go get tested and there's like an actual showing of the disease inside of you. So condoms are a great thing, but I like to do things that don't even require intercourse. I do a lot of things that like are like fluid exchange in a sense, or I like to be paddled, I like to be whipped, I like to be spanked, I like anal play. There
Right.
are numerous things to do in the bedroom. And so because I like all these things, I need to know like how clean you are. Are your
Right.
nail beds clean? Like, do you clean under your fingers? Do you go get your nails done? Do you wash
Yes.
your hands properly? Do you wash your toys? So yeah, we gotta have like better communication skills in order for our sex lives to just like skyrocket.
Right, you mentioned that, and it's like, oh, I never thought about that. Like your nails, like underneath your
Mhm.
nails, your hands, like because we're constantly touching things. And I think I've always been like a really good hand washer because I'm constantly cooking and I have kids, and
Mhm.
I try to be even before COVID, like I was constantly like washing my hands, and but it's like you don't think about that until like these kind of conversations come up, and it's like, hey, do you get your nails done? Let me see.
And you
Like,
wonder, people wonder why like, their pH balances would be off, or when you're getting fingered and all of a sudden it's just like this weird tingling sensation, and it's like because their hands aren't clean, which is why I like condoms, because I would get like the smallest condom and I'll use it on my finger or use it on their finger, whoever like the person is,
right,
because that's like just a natural, safe way to still get the fingering idea, but
the
I don't
pleasure.
necessarily have to like worry about their dirty nails, or even if they get their nails cleaned. I don't worry about their nails just messing up anything I got going on.
Right, because
Mm.
our vaginas are very sensitive. I mean, they take a pounding, but they are very sensitive.
Ain't nothing wrong with a little weight to it, you know. Love a little pressure. Love a little pounding.
Yes. So you mentioned something in the quick conversation. You mentioned sub and dom. So I
Mhm.
know what that is, but can you explain that a little bit? Because there's a lot of people that may not know.
Okay,
When you
well,
talk
so
about like sub and dom in the bedroom, what is
it can
that?
go various ways, because there is just like in the bedroom where it happens. A dom is a person they're the dominant. They are, I don't want to put gender to
Right.
it because it doesn't necessarily equate to gender, but they have a very high energy
Hmm.
that requires them to, it's crazy. A dom technically submits to the sub, and a sub is the person that receives um the care that the dom gives.
Right.
But the sub is the one that says like, "Hi, I like these things to happen. This is my safe word."
So it's the
Um
submissive. It's the
yes,
dominant and submissive.
I didn't say that part. Thank you so much. But the sub is the one who comes in and is just like, well, not comes in, but you guys have a mutual conversation, and the dom says like their requirements, and we talk about. I'll say we, but we would discuss like safe words, patterns. What are some of the things that we like? What are some of the things that we don't like? And it doesn't necessarily have to deal with equipment in this
Right.
sense, because a dom and a sub, I said a dob, a dom and a sub's relationship can be strictly verbal, where there's just a way of communicating with each other, like, do you like this? Am I hitting you properly? And there's like the submissive yes daddy, or yes ma'am, yes sir, all those other kind of things. So it can be a communication style, but it can also be a sex style, and they can go from all the way left to stupid duper right.
Right. Now, have you encountered a lot of couples that are into this kind of is it like considered like BDSM?
Hmm.
Like bondage. What does BDSM stand for? Bondage.
Bondage,
um,
dominance, submission, sadism, and masochism.
right, got it. Okay. For anybody that didn't know, I just know BDSM, I just know bondage and dominant. Um, do you like encounter couples that are really like into that kind of style of sex?
Not deep, because I don't preach that, or I don't teach that
Gotcha.
method. If I do come across a couple or people who want to get deeper into it, I know exactly who to send you to, because there are like several people I look up to that are very deep into that industry. But more so the couples that come to me is more so trying to work on their communication skills, or I don't want to say simple things, because nothing is simple in the bedroom, but everything has a foundation.
Right.
And so couples will more so come to me to help fix their foundation so they can build on top of that, and they
Right.
can go to these other experts to dive into specific kinks. Now, I'm a
Gotcha.
kinky person and I like my own kinks, but that's like for me to have my own experience, not to really like, oh, let me try this out and then
Share
share it
your
with all, or
experiences.
yeah.
Right.
But I
Right.
share my experiences, so someone comes to me and say, hey, have you ever like been spit in the mouth, or have you ever spat in someone's mouth? I will tell you my honest answer. Yes, I have. And
Right.
was it fun? It was. And this is how I felt. But I wouldn't give someone like tips or advice because it was just something that I did on the spare of a moment. I never took no real research to understand it.
Right. Well, that's good. The spitting thing I've never tried, but I've heard people that have tried it and they into it, and it's like, hey, no judgment, because I feel like when it comes to sex, it's like it should be like free. Some people always put these they put like these things on sex. It's like, oh, we shouldn't be doing this, we shouldn't be doing that, especially like
Yeah.
the religious folks. Um,
The
they're
Bible
always like,
thumpers.
oh, yeah, the Bible thumpers. They're like, oh, that's unholy, and it's like,
Hmm.
but why? You know what I mean? It's like you said, it should be
Why?
an experience.
And I've always asked that question. And whenever I ask it, it's like people get offended. Like, why is it so wrong to talk about sex when it's in like our everyday life? There's animals, there's plants. Some plants reproduce by themselves, or they have to
Right.
intertwine with other plants. It's
Right.
a natural way of life for how humans are created or how people, things are created. So
Right.
if we talk about it and talk about it in a way that's healthy, it's educational, and it's beneficial, then why not uplift people to feel comfortable with themselves rather than just being some bitches? Like, let my pussy wet. Let my pussy be wet. Like, I'm not trying to sit here and hop on a bunny rabbit, but
Right.
I just want to like have some fun. Like, hey, like it's not that deep.
And then they just kind of like take the fun out of it because it's like
Then they
having
try
these
to kink shame.
conversations. Right.
Yes, and that's the part that makes me like really mad. Is like if you someone comes out and says, "Oh my gosh, I want them to beat my ass until I'm red." Ew, you want to beat your butt until you're red? That's abuse. That's a sign of childhood trauma. Or maybe I just want to whoop it. Like maybe I just want to get whipped. Like, have
Right.
you thought about that? No, that's not an option for people. And it's so, but you gotta let vanilla people, vanilla sex lovers have
Yeah.
their vanilla sex because that's what they want. And that's why I work with people who don't want to be vanilla anymore or they're trying to tap out of the vanillaness. And they're like, okay, where do I start?
Right. That's so funny because me and my really good friend, I call her my soul sister, but we talk about that all the time, like just vanilla sex, because I've had plenty of vanilla sex, and it's just like, oh my God, like, you know, it's boring.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? It's boring, it's mundane, it's predictable, and it's just like, okay, and there were many
It's
times that I was left
predictable. That's
like
exactly it.
like
And I don't count those
okay.
as body counts anymore. I know people like get offended when I say that at times, but the older I've gotten, the more I've learned like a body count is beneficial. For me to claim you and say that, you made me feel something, and you didn't, I shouldn't be claiming you. That's like claiming a boyfriend that was toxic and abusive. I don't want to claim that. So
Right.
I don't claim the vanilla. So if you're watching this and you ever have vanilla sex with me, I don't count you. I wish you well, but I don't.
But that's like something that, men talk about this a lot. I'm almost certain, um, but it's different when women talk about it because
Hmm.
men don't ever want to hear about a woman's body count or who they slept with or whose dick they sucked or whose pussy they sucked. I mean,
Hmm.
like nobody wants to hear, but it's like, yo, these conversations like need to happen. And I was watching
They do.
one of my friends' podcasts, and he was talking about the same thing, but he was saying about how, we want all this traditional kind of things, but it's like we're not living in a traditional world. Things are so much different now. There's so many
Yeah.
things that are at our disposal, and it's like we see everything like on the internet. I remember how I used to watch porn. I had to like watch it like I don't know if you remember way back in the day. They used to have like those cable boxes with the little button in the back that you get like free.
I ain't that old. I'm a little old, but I ain't that. I'm like late 20s.
Oh well,
Like
I'm a little. I'm
my
close to
porn
the 40.
my
So we
porn
had these little cable boxes that my people know about these cable boxes that you press the little button and porno was like, not, and it was just like not at our disposal. Now you go online and you can see anything and
Mhm.
everything.
Twitter got the best
And
porn.
Twitter,
Twit. Yes.
Twitter got porn.
Yeah,
What in the world?
girl, Twitter got the like Pornhub, for like the diversity, the inclusivity,
Right.
and the ability to like type in what you want to see, and then you can like just click 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 click. But if you ever have like one favorite content creator, whether it's like OnlyFans, Pornhub, Adult Porn Star, whatever, go on Twitter and follow them, because everyone has to market themselves some type of way in this industry. And of course, with certain platforms like Instagram or TikTok, you can't say certain words or you can't do certain
Right.
things, they'll flag it.
They'll
Whereas
ban you.
Twitter is like, as long as you ain't out here bullying nobody and being racist and spreading misinformation, say what you got to say and do what you got to do. And so on Twitter, like the sex worker community, lordy, like
Wow, that's
best.
interesting. Because I mean, I feel like this now that you mentioned that, like the sex worker community, that has gone up. There's a lot of they have OnlyFans now. People are making a lot of money.
Hey, OnlyFans is lit. You get to do whatever you want to do on there, and then just like, hey, sell it. You have people you can literally cater to all types of kinks, and you have people who will just
Fetishes.
pay like top dollar just to see you, just because you fit their aesthetic, or people who just want to be nosy, but you gotta pay. So hey, it's easy money.
Let me find out I'm in the wrong industry.
Hey, I, being a sex worker or working it like in sex work and everything, sex education, this has been the most liberating, and I would say that I learned more about myself in this field than I did in college. A lot of people
Right.
will say like when they go to college, they learn like what it means to be an adult. They'll understand like life decisions and how to make it. I learned how to navigate through the adult world, but learning who I was as a woman, as a vulva owner, as a sex educator, as a black woman at that, I learned like, oh, okay, I'm that bitch. So I need to start acting like it. Then poof,
Right.
here I go, just start presenting myself in a way where I embody confidence. And now I've just like let that become the forefront of my everything. And it's just been a really, really great experience.
I mean, it sounds really liberating, right? Because I feel like us as women, a lot of women, and myself included, like I'm liberated as well,
Hmm.
but I think I just haven't found the right partner to not bring it out of me. But there are some people that can bring certain things out of you.
Hmm.
And I feel like I'm not there yet.
And sometimes it's not even people. Sometimes it's like experiences. Like you don't necessarily have to be with somebody else to be like, oh, I do like this, or this could be a fantasy, or this could turn into a kink or a fetish or something I like. I would suggest that people dive into themselves more. One of the things I talk about a lot is people self pleasing themselves, masturbating a
Yes.
whole lot more. Because a lot of people sit there and be like, I don't masturbate. Why would I masturbate? Well, how are you gonna tell somebody how to fuck you or how to eat you out or how to treat you, and
Right.
you don't give yourself that same treatment? And
Oh,
it's
I
not
had
even
an episode
just,
about that. We talked about that.
I was watching it and then I stopped because I fell asleep because I was really tired yesterday. I just be like a tired person at times. But I talk about like masturbation a lot because it's not even just about taking your hand and beating your dick or taking your fingers and fingering yourself or playing with your body. Masturbation is the art of self gratification, which
Right.
means taking care of yourself. Are you taking like a nice deep shower before you engage in your body? Did you
Right.
take yourself shopping? Do you feel like your hair is up to par? Do you feel like your makeup kit needs to like get touched up? Do you need a haircut? Do you need to go and get a man wax? Do you need to go to the bar with your friends? Like,
Right.
what have you done to take care of yourself? Because if you can't take care of yourself inside and out, your sex life will not be what you expect or what you want it to be.
Hmm. That makes sense. I like that.
Yeah, you got to
That's
take care of yourself.
Girl, you got to take care of yourself. Y'all listening to the fairy sex mother. Y'all need to take care of
Please
yourselves.
do. And play with your nipples when you masturbating too, because your nipples get erect. And if you like it in the bedroom, then do it to yourself.
I was just I was just about to dive in and ask you. So, give me or give us, give the people, what are your most five, I would say top tips of having a good sex life, a healthy sex life? in general.
Okay. Oh, well, taking out the obvious with
Right.
and communication, consent, and getting tested. So take those three obvious factors
Right.
out. Lube, um,
Lube.
water based and silicone, just in case, and anal, in
Because
my
some
opinion.
people could be a little dry. Right.
And it's okay. I think people, while we on lube, I think a lot of people are really afraid of like, oh, if I use lube in the bedroom, that just means like there's something wrong with me. No, lube is okay. Sometimes your natural secretions will not build up the way that you want them to. And instead of constantly having someone spit started, because spit starting is not always that beneficial, just
Right.
use some lube. Like
Right.
it's okay to use lube. Um, hmm. Was he? I was gonna say like toys because if you're in a heterosexual relationship or not even a heterosexual, forget that statement. Regardless of who you're having sex with, everybody has things that they desire to happen in the bedroom, and sometimes that one thing that you're doing is not enough to get that person there. It's like it's peaking, but then you need something to like push it over the edge.
Right.
And adult novelty products don't necessarily mean a vibrator or a dildo every single time, because you have a cock ring, you have nipple clamps, you have mouth gags, floggers, paddles, chokes. There's so many. We have like so many different toys that can do so many different things in the bedroom. And sometimes you don't want to just sit there and just get your back beat in, like beat my back in and put a pillow under my stomach and then like pull my head back or something. Like,
Right.
let's make it real kinky. So toys, and make sure they're rechargeable.
Because you don't
What-
want them to die in the middle of your
Yes.
session.
No battery operated, Bluetooth connected if possible, and waterproof because make it splash. Um Water. As y'all saw throughout the episode, I keep a bottle of water on me, but you got to stay hydrated because personally, if you're trying to have a connection during sex, during all four stages of sex, there's no point of rushing it. So it's necessarily that does not mean like the entire, let's say we're having sex for 40 minutes or there's some type of interaction for 40 minutes. That entire 40 minutes does not necessarily mean that there's a penis in my mouth or my vagina, my butt, or
Right.
something is happening. Those 40 minutes could be us talking, kissing, playing around with each other, dancing, um, fighting. I play
Right.
fight with my boyfriend sometimes before we have sex. Just a little cutesy stuff. Keep you some water to stay hydrated. What was
Right.
that, four? What was that, three?
That was 4.
Boys. Okay, and the fifth one.
How do you make it not vanilla-y?
Honestly, I would put these all together like herbs. I was gonna say like incense, tea, and herbs or any
Mhm.
external activities that you like. Incense to help set the mood and keep a smell inside of the room, or a candle. Depends
Right.
on the kind of person you are. Even if the lights are on, you still want the room to smell good. You want the ambiance to give what it needs to give. Because after we have
To
sex, it's gonna be a
give,
little
giving.
musty. We're gonna be a
Yeah.
little sweaty. We gonna hop in the shower right after, but we're gonna have like a little fun tussling these sheets. So
Right.
let's make sure it smells nice in the area. And I also like to drink tea before I have sex. From if I know that I'm planning sex,
Right.
that's another thing. I'm gonna add a sixth one just because I
Go
like to
ahead.
plan sex. Like make a calendar for when you want to have it, because for one, you get excited for it. It makes it easier because then depending on who planned the activity, or if both of you sit down and be like, oh yeah, let's see each other on Tuesday and we're gonna spend the whole day together, and you guys know that you're gonna have sex whether you said it or it was just a known thing. um Plan your sex life and or your sex moments, so that way when it's about to come or the day comes, you can plan for what you want to do that day. Like, oh, I know that Bae's coming over, so let me get some new lingerie. Or I know
Right.
that he's coming over, let me pull out this fresh new cologne. And you put forth a lot more effort when you're planning it. That's why people love like sneaky links or
Mm,
appointments and all the other kind of stuff. When they get hit up at 2 o'clock in the morning, a lot of people sit there and be like, oh, I don't like that because what am I, a hoe? But there's other people who love it because you're planning to have sex and you
right.
know exactly what's about to happen. So then they put forth the effort. But I was going to say that drinking tea if you can before you have sex, relaxes the body, and it helps push out, natural secretions that you want to flow throughout the
What
day.
kind of tea? Any tea?
See, I like mint tea because
Yes,
it
I like
opens up
mint
the
tea.
throat. Because I'm a professional gobbler, so you got to keep the throat open at all times. But there's nothing wrong with like a lavender tea. I had to look at my tea. Uh, what's this called? A tea shelf. There we go. Lavender, eucalyptus,
Oh, I
sage.
like eucalyptus. I like eucalyptus. I like the smell. I like peppermint. I like
Yes.
eucalyptus. I like spearmint. I feel like that loosens up.
Mm,
I like taking a shower with like all that stuff. I think it's like I love the
yes.
smell.
One of my favorite sex educators, Tyomi Morgan, had talked about one time, or she had told me that in her shower, what she does is get like a fresh eucalyptus plant and some lavender and like tie it together and then hang
Yes.
it on the shower head. So like as she's showering, the steam, all of it. I've never felt so relieved in the morning and at night. I shower twice a day. My water bill is high, sometimes more. But I've never felt such a release from having naturally scented herbs just surrounding me and just making me feel like, ooh, I'm at peace. And then right before sex, what?
I'm at peace and I'm about to get a piece.
Yes. I'm about to get a whole meal with a biscuit and a drink. Do you want a large fry?
Yes. Extra large, please, with a little ranch
Like,
on the side. I need some sauce.
and make it crispy, fry. Yes, yes. That's
Yes.
how
And on that note, honey, y'all better make it crispy. Tell them where they can find you, girl. Fairy Sex Mother. Where you at? Where you at?
you can follow me on Twitter at Literally Fairy Sex Mother. Mother is spelled Mutha. You can find me on Instagram at Fairy S Mother Mutha. And OnlyFans is in both of my social media bios. And if you want to book a session with me, just go to my website, www.fairyintimate.com. Yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you, my love, for coming on the show. You was dropping some gems. I appreciate it.
Thank you for
Hit,
having
hit
me.
her up. Hit her up if y'all need a little spice in your life.
Hello. And if you're in New Jersey, October 21st to the 23rd, I'll be at Exotica. I'm doing a seminar on fellatio. So you can come to my
Hey.
seminar. Might see me suck a live dick on stage. You never know. With me, you honestly never know. So
Well, thank you so much for coming on this show, and I hope to talk to you soon.
thank you.
You
Thank you
have
for
a good
having me.
night.
Thank you.
Bye.